Hello UHS, welcome to video number 4 of the College Essentials series. This video is all about FAFSA. It's a step-by-step tutorial. Just a reminder, I am Miss Sodebeer and I work with students' last names M through Z. Alright, the FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, and it's the application that college-bound students must complete to be eligible for federal and state grants, federal loans, and some scholarships, including the A+ scholarship. College-bound students include those planning to attend a career or technical school, 2-year community college, or 4-year university. The latest FAFSA opens on October 1st of each year and must be completed for each academic year that you need aid. The first step in completing the FAFSA is creating an FSA ID. This is a secure login that enables you to access the FAFSA application. Both the student and one parent need their own unique FSA ID. Most seniors create their ID at school during advisory and should have a form with information to share with you, the parents. So if you're a parent watching this video, check with your senior to see if they already have an FSA ID and if they can help you create one. If not, maybe your student was absent that day or had a technical issue or whatever. So if not, no worries. The next few slides focus on creating that ID. You'll go to this website here, fsaid.ed.gov, which looks like this. The first page is pretty straightforward, but we have just a few pointers. The username is not case sensitive, but the password is case sensitive. Your password will be rejected if it has your birthday or anything like that in it, birthday, social. And then the other tip I wanted to give on this page was just make sure that you actually scroll over and click continue if you're on a laptop. Don't just like hit enter on your keyboard. It gets really touchy about that. All right, this page also pretty straightforward. Just make sure that you put your social security number in correctly. And then the contact information, our tip here is just to leave that box checked. That will get you set up with mobile phone verification, so that if you ever need to reset or recover your password username, this piece will make it easier to do. And then your challenge questions, you'll choose 4 from the drop-down options. Just think critically about which ones you want. Like, are you going to remember if you capitalize the name or not? And then after you go through challenge questions, once you set those, you'll get to the confirm and verify page. You just scroll through and make sure everything there is correct, and then you'll have a little verify button at the bottom. And then you'll be sent the verifications for your mobile phone and your email. Again, this helps you recover username and password later if you need. Sometimes it takes 5 to 10 minutes for these codes to be sent. So if that happens, don't panic. Just leave the window open on your computer and kind of wait for it to be sent and put it in once you get it. And then you are done creating your FSA ID. The FSA ID, you can do it anytime. We just recommend doing it at least 2 days before you want to do the FAFSA, so that way the Social Security office has time to confirm your Social Security number. But otherwise, you can finish it whenever, which is different than the actual FAFSA application. As mentioned earlier, the actual application doesn't open until October 1 of every year. So if you are a senior and it's September and you're like, I want to get a head start, don't try and do your FAFSA in September of your senior year. You'll be doing the wrong one. You'll be doing what last year's seniors did. So wait until October 1 and then go to fafsa.ed.gov. That homepage looks like this. You'll click Start Here. On this page, I want to point out that through the FAFSA application, when it says you and your, that always refers to the student because it's actually their financial aid application, which is why we recommend that parents and students sit down and do the FAFSA together, and we recommend logging in as I am the student, but that's not required, so you can pick either option here. The next page, if you click I am the student, you'll see what it does here on the left where you log in with your FSA ID. But if you click I am the parent, you log in using your student's social security number and birthday. But then after you make it through this page, it all goes back to looking the same. Here you want to make sure you select the correct FAFSA application. It's not the school year you're in, but the year for which you need aid. So if you are a senior in 1920, you're going to start college in fall 2020 and go through your freshman year of college, 2020, 2021. So that is the FAFSA application you would need. The save key is just a way to log back into your FAFSA if you can't do it all in one setting. It's easier to recover and reset than your FSA ID, so don't sweat this one too much. We just typically recommend a 4-digit code. And then you're actually like really into the FAFSA. I want to point out the sections across this top: student demographics, school selection, etc. The FAFSA likes to save whole sections at a time, so if you can't do it all in one night, at least make it to the end of one of the sections. First few pages of student demographics are pretty straightforward. If you're a male and you're 18, you should be registered for selective service. And then this is where I really wanted to point out something in the student demographics section. Is that the first question says, are you interested in being considered for work study? We talked about work study in the last video, so refer back to it if you need reminders. But we recommend saying yes, you'd like to at least be considered for it. Just remember that even though you say yes here, it doesn't guarantee you an on-campus job. Here I just want to point out how that student demographics section got a green check mark, and now we're moving into school selection. Here you put Union High School, Union, Missouri, and then instead of clicking next, you want to click search. It's just picky about that. Click search, a window will pop up where you'll click the box that says, yes, this Union High School, and then you'll scroll over and click next. Remember that reminder from earlier. If you're on a Chromebook especially, avoid just hitting enter on your keypad. Remember to scroll over and actually click next or continue, otherwise it might jump you back to the start and not have saved your information, and we don't want that. All right, next section, or next page in the school selection section, you're gonna put the colleges you're interested in. Here you'll search for your colleges and include all the colleges you're thinking of applying to, even if you haven't completed their applications or haven't been accepted yet. You can put up to 10. If you're applying to more than 10 schools, this is rare, but sometimes happens. If you're applying to more than 10, just put your 10 top choices and then come talk to us about the special way to add more later, and we will help you out with that. And then you'll be asked for your housing plans for each of the schools you put on your FAFSA. Usually a four-year school means you're living on campus, and a community college means you're living at home or with parents, or sorry, off campus or with parents. But we know there are exceptions, so just use your best judgment on this one. And then we are in the dependency section. I'll talk about independent students in a minute, but majority of students will file as a dependent, so they'll do FAFSA with a parent, and they will need parents' tax information. If parents are divorced, the student should file with their custodial parent, which means the parent they are with majority of the time. If the custodial parent is remarried and there's a step-parent, then that step-parent's tax income information will be included on the FAFSA. But for majority of people, the first three answers are no here. And then this page asks about, does the student already have a dependent of their own? Usually no, but sometimes you might have to put a yes there, depending on your situation. And then the next page. This is where I want to address independent status in more detail. If you're a student who lives with someone other than your parent or step-parent, maybe you live with a grandparent, an aunt, someone else who has legal guardianship, then you may need to file your FAFSA as an independent. We do our best to be aware of special circumstances and prepare students for this if they need to do FAFSA as an independent, but if you're unsure, please come talk to us. If you do need to file as an independent, it's usually because of something on this page or the next one. So you might have to click here, yes, I've been in foster care, or someone other than my parent has guardianship. So that may be the case for independent students, but most families will click none of the above here. This question says, were you homeless or were you self-supporting and at risk of being homeless as of such and such date? Again, most families it's going to be a no, but if this is a yes for you, please come talk to us so that we get you connected to your school counselors, get you connected to the resources you need so that we are helping you understand how the FAFSA process works for you. On this page, majority of families will say, I will provide information about my parents, because the parent should be sitting there with them, helping them as they move forward with the FAFSA. If you said most families will select I will provide information here, but if you said yes to the homeless question on the slide before or something other than none of the above on the slide before that, then you would say I am unable to provide parent information here. All right, and then we move into the parent demographics section. This is the part where we start to get less detailed in the video because depending on how you answer a question, it will produce different questions that come after it. But the parent demographics section is pretty straightforward, and then you will get to the financial information section. I want to give a word on prior year here. So earlier I explained how you know which FAFSA you'll do. It's not the school year you're in, but the school year you need aid for. Let's not confuse that with which year's taxes you'll need to do the FAFSA. You'll need what financial aid folks call prior year. So if you're going to start college in fall 2020, you need 2018 taxes for the FAFSA. If you're going to college fall 2021, you'll need 2019 taxes, and so on and so forth. Here I also want to point out the IRS data retrieval tool. If you hire someone to help you with taxes or file them online, you should be offered a link to link up your FAFSA and the IRS website, which will help the process go smoother and faster. If you file without help or on paper through snail mail, this option might not be available to you. But if it is available, use it. It's going to help things go smoother. So you'd go ahead and you'd click the link to IRS button, and then you get this message of leaving FAFSA, going to another page. Don't panic. That's okay. It's going to sync it all up. You're not going to lose the work you've done so far. Click OK here, and then you'll get some pages that look like this on the IRS website. If you've moved recently, just make sure to use the address that you were at when you filed taxes instead of where you're at currently. You'll get a few pages like this, and then you'll get to a spot where you can say transfer now, looks like this, and then it'll sync it back up. It'll say transferred from the IRS, and you'll pat yourself on the back and you'll be excited because it went smoother than you thought it would. And then you'll click next. If you weren't able to use the IRS data retrieval tool, you'll get some pages that look like this where you'll enter in manually the information from your paper taxes. Look for places where it says like as reported on W-2 in box 12 code Q to kind of help you be confident that you are putting in the right information. Then you'll get to the sign and submit section. You are not a preparer. Here you'll scroll through all the blue and just make sure it looks right until you get to the bottom. And then this is where you sign with your FSA ID. It is possible to have one person sign and save and then come back and have the other person sign later. So this is an example of what that looks like. And then once you fully submit your FAFSA, yay, it's all done, you will get a student aid report sent to you. Sometimes it's called the SAR or SAR. This report confirms that the FAFSA has been submitted and provides anticipated aid eligibility. Your college and career advisors, that's me and Ms. Marlenbach, we want to see a copy of your student aid report so that we know for sure you did your FAFSA, so that we can help you understand what the student aid report is saying and in turn help you with smart borrowing. Smart borrowing is the topic for video number 7. So check that out. Check out 5 and 6 before that, which are more details on scholarships and loans. And as always, you can follow us on social media for more tips, and you can reach out with any questions. We're eager to help.